Yo, what's going on, guys? And today I wanted to talk about why I believe the Utah Jazz are the scariest team heading into this playoffs. So I want to hear right now down below. I kind of like did a weird cliffhanger right there. I'm kind of baked, but I want to hear your opinions down below. What do you guys think of this Utah Jazz team? Bojan Bogdanovic dropped 48 points and kind of did it because he had to, because Donovan Mitchell is still out for like another week. Mike Conley did not play, and really their only other scoring option was Jordan Clarkson. And this team, I think this game just shows this is a team that, first off, the Denver Nuggets are no joke. Okay, they're with who I believe is going to be the MVP, Nikola Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., Paul Millsap, Aaron Gordon, Austin Rivers. This is a team that actually is a pretty good team, even though they do have a bunch of injuries, going against a Utah Jazz team that just flexed their depth because they're just like, oh, we're missing two of our starters. That's fine, man. We'll have Joe Ingles be our point guard. Royce O'Neal keep doing his thing. Bojan Bogdanovic will take Donovan Mitchell's scoring responsibilities. Then Georges Niang will come in and just be in charge of stretching the floor. Rudy Gobert will continue doing his thing. Clarkson will continue doing his thing. Then they got Trent Forrest out here being kind of like I would really want to say a combination of, I don't like, kind of like a mix of like a Joe Ingles, Royce O'Neal role where he's just there, he'll grab rebounds, he can pass the ball to set up his teammates for assists, and he can stretch the floor. And Derek Favors and Ersan Ilyasova just came in to spell the minutes for the guys who needed breathers. But going into playoffs, I think if you really look at this team in the rotation when healthy, I think it's some serious depth. You got Mike Conley over here, Donovan Mitchell just being, I think, or one of the most underrated front courts. Is it the front court or back court? I always forget. But either way, one of the most underrated guard duos in the league. Then you got Bojan Bogdanovic, who's being backed up by Joe Ingles. Royce O'Neal, who I think is going to be a second team all defensive player at the very least. He's the most underrated player on this team. He is their power forward. He's 6'4", 226 pounds. He gets them 6.9 points, 6.9 rebounds per game, 2.5 assists. Yeah, his PER is 9.88, but that's not actually indicative of what he actually does. Like, he comes in, he hits 3-pointers, he plays aggressive defense, he gets steals, he gets blocks, he contests shots. He's just a very good hustle player. He's their Swiss Army knife. Rudy Gobert, we all know the Stifle Tower. Derek Favors backs him up. Ersan Ilyasova, I really thought was gonna, maybe replace Georges Niang in the lineup, but yeah, he's 33. I honestly just thought he was just gonna have a bigger role, but he really hasn't. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, and like I should have expected. I just thought he was gonna play 15 to 18 minutes like he has the past 2 years for the Milwaukee Bucks. And also, Ersan Ilyasova might actually be like 36 or 37. Suppose you like assume the identity of somebody else. That's a video for another time. Actually, there's a bunch of videos on that YouTube, so I'll never make a video on that. But Matt Thomas is another guy that I'm surprised they haven't been playing. Like, they played Mai Oni, the guy from, I think it's Yale. Yeah, who he really hasn't played much for his career, so I won't go into him. But Matt Thomas, he's came in a few games, and he's been shooting really well from three. I know he doesn't offer basically anything of defensively, but I've seen a few games where he's came in and he's hit buckets. Like what? When at Sacramento at the end of April, he dropped 17, and then against Phoenix, he dropped 10. Obviously, he's a defensive liability, but you would think when they need extra, I mean, they do put him in when they need extra three-point shooting. But yeah, this team just shows like how much depth they have, and I think that's like this team has won four in a row, and like they haven't been healthy. And I think honestly the most catastrophic injury that they could have is if Rudy Gobert gets hurt, but I think it's Derek Favors could do a decent job. He would never be able to like replace what Rudy offers, but I think he could do like a good job for a game or two if needed if he's out. But really, I think this team is good because if Royce goes down, hopefully Joe Ingles and George Niang can pick up right there, and they'll probably switch in make Jawan Morgan in there, or Trent Forrest. That's just another guy. Trent Forrest has been really interesting. Who they found right there. He was a guy that I really didn't know who he was, and you just pluck. That's the great teams do. They pluck these guys out of the G Leagues, find these little like role players that no one expects. Elijah Hughes is another guy that I'm surprised they haven't been playing as much. My actual fraternity brother played on the same AAU team as him. But yeah, Trent Forrest is a rookie, and he's actually pretty interesting. Like I think the past couple games, if you've seen, he's actually been playing pretty decent. So let me read you guys we'll go his last 10 game stats just to give you. Last 9 games, he's been averaging about 13.3 minutes per night, shooting 53% from the field, 23% from 3, getting 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 0.3 blocks, 0.1 steals, about 5 points. Nothing special, but I think that's just like, hey, he's another guy that they found that he kind of like fits this like swingman role. They use him as an undersized guy. I really like him. That's why I was saying he's like a Joe Ingles, Royce O'Neal mix. I see him. But yeah, that's it for me today, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. But yep, flippies. Ooh, I think they're gonna be scary.